Kia ora!
Kia ora!
You're back with your favourite hyper aunties. I'm Auntie Sarah.
And I'm Auntie Manu.
And today we're going to focus on Facebook. And we're going to focus a little bit on the importance of identifying your tribe and talk through some of the points that fit within how you do that and what's worked for us.
Yeah, how do you build a tribe on Facebook?
Absolutely.
That's a good question.
We talked a little bit about in the preparation for this around how the difference between a scattergun approach or sometimes just spray and pray into the whole of the Facebook world and hoping that you'll find your network of like-minded people interested in the same topics versus targeting and doing specific activities to actually get the right people to come and watch your content.
Yeah, having a more deliberate approach where you kind of have a plan. And of course, we are all for free flow, see what works, double down on that, try new things. But it's good to have some sort of plan.
Absolutely.
A strategy that you want to test at least and see if it works for you. It might work for someone and not work for you at all. So it really is something that you need to validate.
Absolutely. And I think this is where effort comes in. So when you talk about intentionality, effort is a really key part of that. And so just putting something out there and hoping for the best will have a certain type of effect. And you'll have certain types of odds of the right people finding your content. Where the same thing is if you're a bit more intentional, you do a little bit of research and you find some information and then you follow that information that's kind of proven and been tried and tested, your odds go up. And so that's really all that we're talking about today is like how can we help you with this information that we share in this video to be more intentional and push your odds up of finding the right people and getting your content in front of the right people.
And build a community.
On Facebook.
Yes. So the first thing that we both agreed on is really understanding who is your tribe, who are the people that you want to talk to, and there will be, the community that you want to put this effort in. Who are you adding value to? What are the informations that you want to feed them with? So, Auntie Sarah, how do you find your tribe? Where do you find them?
My thoughts are that you really have to figure out who are you trying to serve and then describe them as vividly as possible. And a tool actually you can Google, and maybe we'll share a link to a good one, is a persona canvas to actually draw a picture of your ideal customer. Is it for us probably a middle-aged woman, someone who is in the corporate game and looking to try something more independent, that kind of thing. And so then you have to say, right, we want somebody that's located anywhere in New Zealand. That's a really important demographic that we want to identify, not someone anywhere. So one of the reasons that's important is because Facebook is much more geographically targeting than, for instance, YouTube. So that's one of the reasons that piece of information is important. So the more pieces of information you have around the people, your ideal customer that you want to serve, the more you can hone in on targeting them. That's really important when you're doing paid advertising. Really important when you're doing paid advertising.
Yeah, even if that's further down the line, but it's something to keep in mind.
100%. And then you kind of can create an avatar. You can create an avatar. You can kind of go, right, we're creating this content for this one woman. If this content is for Mary and we've described Mary and we understand Mary, and now we're talking to Mary when we create our content, by default, the Marys in the world will see the content and it will resonate with them more. So I think that that's probably the biggest thing is brainstorm your person, your ideal customer, and get as many defining characteristics about them as you can, and start with really simple things like sex, age, geographic location. Those are the primary bits. And then think about things like how tech savvy are they? What platforms do they even navigate?
Yeah, where do they hang out?
Where do they hang out?
And which groups are they
Are there
attending?
groups?
Are they following any any events or newspapers, or what kind of information besides what you will be providing would they be interested in? It's really understanding the behaviors online and their interests.
100%.
Yeah.
So that's all around finding your people. So I'll chuck a link in for a persona canvas, so you can at home can kind of go through that exercise and go, who is it that I want my content to talk to, so that then I can talk to them directly. And I know more about them, and I'm establishing more and more facts that I keep adding to as time goes on. So that's the people. Then the next thing is making sure that you have relevant content.
Yeah, why would they watch you? Why would they follow what you're doing and sharing online? How are you adding value?
100%. And then also, how consistent is that? So if this week I'm talking about tennis,
So important.
and next week I'm talking about golf, I might be still talking about different sports, but if the audience that was watching me last week was interested in tennis and this week we're talking about golf, something that they're not interested in, then I'm going to lose that audience and have to rebuild every week. So I'm not going to gain any momentum that way. Whereas if I'm focused on a tennis-oriented audience and I keep building on that tennis content and every week it's something more about women in tennis, then that audience is fed. That audience is interested, and we build on that audience over time. So that's around relevant content. It has to be high energy. It has to be engaging. It has to meet all the other requirements for general content. But then also it has to be relevant to that audience every single time.
Yeah. And then there are multiple ways or strategies that, or tactics that you can use to amplify that content. And the first one is also tied up to understanding your audience in the first place. So understanding the ecosystem, understanding the different groups that they might be part of or that are an extension of what you're doing. And also the leaders and the ecosystem that are already speaking to those audiences in the ecosystem, so that you can actually take them in. You can put them as, add them as part of your content, and really spread the love and amplify each other. And also you want to amplify their work. So there is this extension, a way that we can collaborate and amplify each other, and that brings visibility.
I think so too. One really good example that we had was our Birdman, right? From Maddox Photography.
Yeah,
So
he's doing an amazing job.
They've
out
done
there.
a really good job of identifying key players in bird photography, tagging them in, involving them in his content, connecting with their content, getting on their podcasts if they have them, and that sort of thing. And so that's building that network out so that you're now connected in, which means their followers are also connected into you. And so you can do that for your business at home. Who are the key influencers that you're aware of online? How can you at least tag them in, post something directly for them, and somehow get their viewership, their followers, eyeballs on your business? And likewise, how can you share the followers that you have with that influencer as well? And that's the mutual beneficial nature of connecting with people in the ecosystem on Facebook.
The smart way that he would do that with is identifying the different groups, the bird photography, wildlife photography, the different groups with shared values, with a shared message. And then he would put in a comment at and that group. And it just amplifies the reach. Or you can actually add people. So you put at and the name of a leader in that space, an influencer, a person, a friend that you know would be interested in that. So share the love. Anything that you might be creating from a good place with a good intention is worth sharing. So be generous.
I think generosity is a key theme in social media success anyway. And trying to see it as like building on each other rather than competitiveness. Nobody is following only one person on social media. So having someone follow another person with similar interests isn't competitive for your eyeball. It's actually linked to helping make sure that their social media feed is more relevant for their interests, with multiple sources of information around that same topic.
Yeah, and you complement someone else's work and you see what are the gaps and you fill those gaps and you bring value with what you share that someone else might have missed out and you complete the story.
100%.
Yeah.
SEO keywords are one of the critical ways in your taglines, in your titles, in your files that you upload. All of these places use SEO keywords.
Yeah, what does that mean actually? Simplify.
So basically the titles that you put in are searchable words, and the more searchable words you include in those titles and file names and so forth, the simpler it is for your content to be raised to the top when someone types in or searches for that topic.
Yeah. For example, when we were talking about Maddox photography, that could be wildlife photography or bird photography or more pork, as some of the words that the people interested in that topic would be looking for. So if you put those words, you add in the captions, you add it in the titles, you add it in the text that is bubbling up on your image, and even in the name of the file that you're uploading, you have more chances to be found. And when those people will be looking for content that they are interested in. So that's a good hint.
I definitely think this is an area where AI is super helpful.
Ooh.
There are actually lots and lots of sites that specialize in
Yeah.
delivering your keywords for you. But it's something that you can ask ChatGPT or one of the other large language models for. And even the AI in Canva and the AI in Facebook itself can help you to identify these keywords.
I think even, hashtags, the game of hashtags have changed a little bit, because before searchability would increase if you would put a hashtag with a keyword practically. But it's still, I think it's a good way to find keywords. So you can put hashtag and you start typing, let's say bird, and you will see different keywords popping up and the number of posts where those hashtags have been used. So it might give you an idea of what are some of the words that people are using.
Yes, I think in the past it made you more discoverable, but now it really is only useful for searchability. So someone specifically looking for that word, then they might get fed your content, but it's no longer useful in other areas. So less focus on hashtags, more focus on SEO keywords.
Which is a reminder of how often the game on social media changes and the algorithm. So it's good to keep innovating. Just play out with different things. If you have an idea, do it and see what happens. See what is the engagement. See how people react. You don't know until you don't actually try it for yourself, because you might surprise yourself.
100%. And one of the things that I think is really worth doing is following someone who's got a professional team working for them. So if you're following, I don't know, Diary of a CEO, who's, got a massive professional team and is trying to lead in this game, and you watch how they're posting, what are they including? What is different about their search words? What's different about, are they doing hashtags? Are they tagging people in? Are they commenting to their own posts? Those sorts of things. And then you can go, okay, if that's good enough for the Diary of a CEO, which is a very professional outfit, then that's good enough for me to take as the tip and do the same thing.
Yeah.
Worth a shot.
And I would say, last but not least, it's really important to collaborate. Talk to friends, to others who are in the same space, and let them share your content and you share this. You can really do so much more together.
This is very true.
Yeah.
So be active in the groups that you've already identified as being part of your ecosystem. And you can do that through posting. You can do this through commenting on other people's posts. You can do this by connecting directly with members of that group that you see some kind of connection with. And you certainly can do that through offering some reciprocity by starting the ball rolling, right? So if you give first, the odds of someone saying yes when they've received from you, whether it's valuable content, whether it's comments on their posts, whether it's just likes and, you know, interactions with their posts, you'd be amazed how much people really appreciate that. And so over time, as you do that more and more, you know, when someone's seen your name around, you're a familiar
They will
face.
back you up.
Yeah, they're much more likely to
Yeah.
see you as credible in your field and want to collaborate, want to do the same thing in reciprocity, like and comment on your posts, and potentially share, because sharing is another way that you can get a lot more reach.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed those little tips about how to build your community and that it will just make local loud.
Absolutely. Try a few of these out and see how they impact your posts and let us know how you get on.
Ciao.
Peace out.
Bye.